We came by another route up there. Pointing a finger firmly at him, the great immortal said with a laugh. Brazen ape! Who are you trying to fool? You struck down my ginseng fruit tree in my abbey, and then you fled here in the night. You dare deny this? Why try to cover up? Don't run away. Go quickly and bring back another tree for me. When Pilgrim heard this, he grew angry and whipped out his iron rod. Without waiting for further discussion, he struck at the head of the great immortal. Stepping aside to dodge the blow, the great immortal trod on the auspicious luminosity and rose into the air, closely followed by Pilgrim, who also mounted the clouds. The great immortal changed back into his true form in midair, and this was how he appeared. He wore a cap of purple gold and a carefree gown trimmed with crane's down. He had on his feet a pair of shoes. A silk sash was tied round his waist. His body seemed that of a lad, his face that of a lady fair, but with flowing mustaches and beard. Some crow feathers adorned his hair. He faced Pilgrim but without a weapon, save a jade yak's tail which he twirled in his hand. Above and below, Pilgrim struck wildly with his rod, only to be parried again and again by the great immortal wielding his jade yak's tail. After 2 or 3 rounds of fighting, the great immortal displayed his magic of the cosmos in the sleeve. Standing on the tip of a cloud and facing the wind, he gently flipped open the wide sleeve of his gown and sent it toward the earth in a sweeping motion. All 4 of the monks and the horse were at once scooped up into the sleeve. This is dreadful, said 8 Rules. We have been placed in a clothes bag. It isn't a clothes bag, idiot, said Pilgrim. We've been scooped up into his sleeve. In that case, said 8 Rules, it shouldn't be too difficult. Let me use my rake and make a hole in his gown. When we make our escape, we can claim that he was careless and didn't hold us securely, so that we fell out of his sleeve. Idiot started to dig into the garment madly with his rake, but all to no avail. Although the material was soft to the touch, it was harder than steel when it came into contact with the rake. Turning around the direction of his auspicious cloud, the great immortal went back to the 5 villages abbey and sat down, ordering his disciples to fetch some ropes. As the little immortals went about their business, he fished out the pilgrims one by one like puppets from his sleeve. First he brought out the Tang monk, and had him bound to one of the large pillars in the main hall. Then he took out the 3 disciples and had them tied to 3 other pillars. Finally he took out the horse and had it tied up in the courtyard. It was given some hay while the luggage was thrown into one of the corridors. Disciples, said the great immortal. These monks are persons who have left home, and they should not be harmed by knives or spears, hatchets, or battle axes. Bring out my leather whip instead and give them a beating as an act of vengeance for my ginseng fruit. Some of the immortals went quickly to fetch the whip, not the sort made of cow hide, sheep hide, suede, or buffalo hide. It was, rather, a whip of 7 thongs made of dragon hide. After soaking it in water for a while, one of the more robust little immortals took it up and asked, Master, which one shall be flogged first? The great immortal replied, Tripitaka Tang is the unworthy senior member of his party. Beat him first. When Pilgrim heard what he said, he thought to himself, that old monk of mine cannot stand such flogging. If he's destroyed by the whip, wouldn't that be my sin? Unable to remain silent any longer, he said, Sir, you are mistaken. It was I who stole the fruits, and it was I who ate the fruits. Moreover, I also pushed down the tree. Why don't you flog me first? Why do you have to whip him? This brazen ape, said the great immortal, laughing, does know how to speak courageously. All right, let's flog him first. How many lashes? Asked the little immortal. As many as the original number of the fruits, said the great immortal. 30 lashes. Lifting high the whip, the little immortal was about to strike. Fearing that this weapon of an immortal's house might be a formidable one, Pilgrim opened his eyes wide to see where he was going to be struck and found that the little immortal was about to flog his legs. With a twist of his torso, Pilgrim said, "Change." And his 2 legs became hard as steel, all ready to be flogged. With measured strokes, the little immortal gave him 30 lashes before putting down the whip. It was already almost noon when the great immortal said again, "We should now give Tripitaka a flogging, since he did not know how to discipline his mischievous disciples, and permitted them to indulge in unruly behavior." As the immortal took up the whip again, Pilgrim said, "You are again mistaken, sir. When the fruits were stolen, my master was conversing in this hall with the 2 lads. He had no knowledge whatever of what we brothers had perpetrated. Though he might be guilty of not being strict enough in his discipline of us, those of us who are his disciples should receive the punishment for him. Flog me again. This lawless ape," said the great immortal. "Though he is sly and devious, he does possess some filial sentiments. In that case, let's flog him again." The little immortal again gave him 30 lashes. When Pilgrim lowered his head to take a look, he saw that his 2 legs had been beaten until they were shining like mirrors, though he had no sensation whatever, either of pain or of itching. By this time it was getting late, and the great immortal said, "Soak the whip in water. Wait until tomorrow, and then we shall punish them again." The little immortals retrieved the whip and placed it in water, after which everyone retired to his own chamber. When they had finished their evening meal, all went away to sleep, and we shall say no more of them now. With tears flowing from his eyes, the elder began to complain bitterly to his 3 disciples, saying, "You all have caused this trouble, but I have to suffer with you in this place. What are you going to do about it? Stop this complaining," said Pilgrim. "They flogged me first, and you haven't even had a taste of it yet. Why do you have to grumble like that? Though I have not been flogged," said the Tang monk. "This rope is causing me to ache all over." "Master," said Sha monk, "there are others here who are your companions in bondage. Stop this racket, all of you," said Pilgrim. "In a little while, we'll all be on our way again." "Elder brother," said 8 Rules, "you are fibbing again. We are tightly bound now in hemp ropes sprayed with water. They are not like the locks on those doors that you open so easily with your magic. This is no exaggeration," said Pilgrim. "But I'm not afraid of a 3-ply hemp rope sprayed with water. Even if it were a cord as thick as a small bowl, I would consider it as insubstantial as the autumn wind." Hardly had he finished speaking when it became completely quiet everywhere. "Dear Pilgrim," he contracted his body and at once freed himself from the ropes, saying, "Let's go, master." "Elder brother," said a startled Sha monk. "Save us, too." "Speak softly. Speak softly," said Pilgrim. He untied Tripitaka, Sha monk, and 8 Rules. They put on their clothes, saddled the horse, and picked up the luggage from the corridor. As they walked out of the abbey gate, Pilgrim said to 8 Rules, "Go to the edge of the cliff there and bring back 4 willow trees." "What do you want them for?" asked 8 Rules. "I have use for them. Bring them quickly." Idiot did possess some sort of brutish strength. He did as he was told, and with one shove of his snout he felled one of the willow trees. Knocking down 3 more, he gathered them up into a bundle and hauled them back. Pilgrim stripped the branches off the trunks, and the 2 of them carried the trunks inside, where they fastened them to the pillars with the ropes with which they had earlier been tied up themselves. Then the great sage recited a spell. Biting the tip of his own tongue, he spat some blood on the trees and cried, "Change." One of them changed into the elder, another changed into a figure like himself, and the 2 other trees changed into Sha monk and 8 Rules. They all seemed to look exactly alike. When questioned, they knew how to make replies. When their names were called, they knew how to answer. Only then did the 2 of them run back out and catch up with their master. As before, the horse did not pause to rest for that whole night as they fled the 5 villages abbey. When morning arrived, however, the elder was nodding on the horse, hardly able to remain in the saddle. When Pilgrim saw him like that, he called out, "Master, you are terribly soft. How is it that a person who has left home like yourself has so little endurance? If I, old monkey, went without sleep even for 1,000 nights, I still would not feel fatigue. Well, you had better get off the horse, so that travelers won't see your condition and laugh at you. Let's find a temporary shelter beneath the mountain slope and rest a while before we move on again. We shall not tell you any more now about master and disciples resting by the way. We shall tell you instead of the great immortal, who rose at the crack of dawn, and went out at once to the main hall after taking his morning meal. He said, 'Bring out the whip. It's Tripitaka's turn today to be flogged.' The little immortal wielded the whip and said to the Tang monk, 'I'm going to beat you. Go ahead,' said the willow tree, and he was given 30 lashes. Changing the direction of his whip, the little immortal said to 8 rules, 'I'm going to flog you. Go ahead,' said the other willow tree, and the one that was changed into the form of Shamunk gave the same reply when it was his turn. By the time they reached Pilgrim, the real Pilgrim, resting by the wayside, was suddenly sent into a violent shudder. 'Something's wrong,' he exclaimed. 'What do you mean?'